on Studio One, almost everyone's carpet takes abuse from spills, stains, and soil. We'll spend a day in the life of someone who can remedy most floor fiascos. Also, if someone is looking for a good American wine, they might choose one made in California. We'll show you a vineyard that's located somewhere you'd least expect. And many people are wondering what New Orleans will be like as it rebuilds after Hurricane Katrina. We'll take you to a community that knows what it takes to recover from a disaster.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hello everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Shannon Brewer. Well, looking back on my childhood, I must say that one of my favorite movies was The Little Mermaid from Disney.
Little Mermaid? I know every Sunday night, 6 o'clock, we'd all run into the living room and watch Disney, whatever was on. But Disney was part of our family get-togethers.
Absolutely. I think it's safe to say that Disney was a part of a lot of people's family activities growing up. And later in the show, we're going to have the opportunity to talk to one man who is actually a professional figure skater with Disney's on Ice.
All right. Look forward to that. Also coming up on our show, many people like to stay out late when they're on the town. We'll tell you how more states are letting them do just that.
Also, bullying is a problem that plagues every schoolyard in America. More and more kids have access to cell phones and the internet, and harassment has gone high-tech. We'll talk to a woman who can tell us about cyberbullying. Before we get to all of that, here's today's news with Mariah Torning.
Thanks, Monty and Shannon. Chief Justice nominee John Roberts has been approved by the Senate Judiciary Committee. The committee voted 13-5 on Thursday afternoon. The 5 Democrats continue to oppose Roberts because of his conservative view of controversial issues. The full Senate will vote on Roberts within 1 week. Many Democratic senators have announced their support for Roberts. The White House would like Roberts to be in place by October 3rd, which is the beginning of the new term. Sony Corporation is revamping itself and in the process disappointing many of its employees. Sony is cutting more than 10,000 jobs and eliminating a number of factories and products. The restructuring will allow Sony to cut costs by $1.8 billion. During the past year, Sony saw a large decrease in earnings. The low price of electronics and more competition caused the loss in profits. The sharp rise in gas prices is making a trip to the pump a painful experience for many drivers. In some places, gas station owners are taking the heat for the high costs. While gas prices have come down from their peak of over $3 per gallon, drivers are still paying more than they would like. The jump in prices has many wondering who to blame. Marcia Kofel, a gas station attendant in Grand Forks, North Dakota, says while the store has not noticed a drastic change in sales, she has noticed a change in attitude.
Oh, you get some customers that come in and joke about it. Some will complain about it, and they'll blame everybody and anybody for the prices going up.
Kofel says most of her customers realize that the gas stations are not at fault. She says many people believe it is caused by the oil companies or the president. Recent gas prices may persuade people to stay at home more in the coming months, but energy experts say that will also be getting more expensive. Hurricane Katrina claimed 10% of U.S. natural gas pipelines and oil refineries, and Hurricane Rita could do even more damage. That will mean a jump in heating costs this winter. Utility companies say the best way to deal with the increase is to conserve as much energy as possible. They say home insulation and furnace maintenance can help cut back on home heating costs. Recently, several states have made a change that allows bars to stay open later. That leaves it up to the communities to make their own judgment calls on whether they want to permit it or not.
5, 6, 7, 8, 10 cents is your change.
Across the nation, bar closing times have become an issue for debate. Neighboring cities Grand Forks, North Dakota and East Grand Forks, Minnesota are in the process of extending bar closing times from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m.
I think it's just going to cause more problems. People are going to drink one more hour. There's going to be more DUIs. There's going to be more passing out. It just adds 1 hour onto the problems that are already there.
You want that extra hour for small business in town, especially since we're a college town. That's a lot of the business comes after that 1 o'clock hour, I would think.
One bar owner believes people shouldn't be too concerned about the later closing time.
You know, I really don't have high expectations that there's going to be a big bar crowd out till 2 in the morning. I think it's the biggest non-issue that there's been out here.
Both cities wanted to make the change together.
The concerns that you have are, you know, what's going to happen with traffic back and forth if one side goes and the other doesn't.
Law officers say they are preparing for any trouble that may occur after the change is made.
We currently have 2 shifts that overlap during what's called like our critical time or peak activity times between the hours of 10 and 3 o'clock in the morning. So we'll have double strength out there to monitor the problems if they arise.
City leaders are hoping the possible negative effects of this change will not outweigh its benefits.
Thank you, sir.
With photographer Jacob Sherlock, this is Melinda Levine for Studio One News.
The state of Arizona experienced mixed results when they changed their bar closing time from 1 to 2 a.m. There was a statewide dip in alcohol-related crashes, while some cities reported an increase in the number of drunk drivers on the road. And that's the news for now. Monty and Shannon?
Thanks, Mariah. There's so many issues to think about when you're seemingly just doing something simple.
Absolutely. There's a lot going on in the weather as well right now, and a lot of things for people to think about out there. And I think it's time that we go over to the weather studio and talk to Matt Benz and see what we can find out about the weather.
Well, thanks, Monty and Shannon. It's actually been pretty quiet across much of our area with pretty nice temperatures as well. So take a look at our averages across most of North Dakota. You can expect your average high to be around 65 degrees. As we head out west towards Denver, your average high for this time of year for the first week of fall is 75. And Winnipeg, Manitoba, coming in again at 17 degrees Celsius. Well, it is hurricane season again, and right now we have Hurricane Rita, and this is as of the 22nd of September. It is located just north of the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico and south of Louisiana. And this hurricane actually began its life just north of the Dominican Republic here in the Caribbean. It moved its way towards the west, squeezed through the Straits of Florida as a Category 2 hurricane, but as soon as it hit the open water of the Gulf of Mexico, it exploded into a Category 4 hurricane, and right now it has winds of 175 miles an hour. And we have to keep an eye on that as it works its way towards the east and northeast, or northwest, pardon me, as it works its way towards the Gulf Coast. Well, we are at R this time of year for storms, and you may be thinking what's the rest of the names for the Hurricane Center, what they choose their names to be. And the next 4 names for hurricanes, if they are going to form, it's going to be Hurricane Stan, Tammy, Vince, and Wilma. And these are storms, these are names given to the storms as they form. But it only goes through Wilma. And what does the Hurricane Center do if we get past Tropical Storm Wilma? Well, they actually switch over the Greek alphabet, and we'll have hurricanes Alpha, Beta, and that will proceed through Omega as well. Well, most of the rest of the country can expect to have average temperatures this fall, except for the desert southwest and the Pacific Northwest. You're going to see above average temperatures this time of year, as well as wet areas will be down to the south, where we're going to see a lot of tropical moisture come into much of Florida, as well as Texas up through Oklahoma as well. And that's just going to create very wet conditions, but again, much of the rest of the country, very normal for this time of year. And our weather IQ question, at any given time, how many thunderstorms are in progress around the world? And you have a couple choices there. And we actually have a story about thunderstorms coming up later in the show, as well as some footage from Hurricane Rita.
Well, I don't know about that. That's a whole lot of thunderstorms on any of those options there. Thanks, Matt.
Look forward to seeing some footage, too, of Rita. I know everybody's been glued to the TV sets watching all of the damage that those hurricanes can produce.
Absolutely. It'll be really interesting to see what actually happens now that we're just starting to get away from the first one.
Yeah. Well, let's go now to sports news with Greg Ankers.
Thanks, Monty and Shannon. It's been over 2 months since the Boston Red Sox were not in first place in the American League East. With the slimmest of margins over the surging New York Yankees, the Sox look to hold on to their lead Wednesday in Tampa Bay. We'll pick up action in the 5th with Boston already up 3-2. Not for long. Manny Ramirez busts out the lumber here as that shot will meet the fans in the stands, extending the Boston lead to 4-2. But the D-Rays would come back in the 8th with runners on 1st and 3rd. Johnny Gomes laces one to left center field. Jorge Cantu will come home and score. And some suspect hustle here by Manny Ramirez will also allow Travis Lee to score. Tampa Bay does not look back as they go on to upset this one 7-4. On to the New York Yankees with Randy Johnson on the hill. He loves big games and he would get help early. Matt Lawton in the 2nd with a man on goes deep to right field for the home run, putting the Yankees up 2-0. Would that be enough for Johnson and the Yanks? In the 6th, 2-1 Yankees lead. Some help with the D. A-Rod with the big stop at 3rd. His throw is in time. That preserves the lead at 2-1. The Orioles would mount another rally in the 9th with 2 men on. Tino Martinez comes up with a huge snag here as the Yanks hold on to win 2-1. They take over the lead in the AL East. Many people use sports as a way to stay active and keep a healthy lifestyle. But for some athletes, sports can serve another purpose. Special Olympics offers people with intellectual disabilities a chance to compete in organized tournaments. Participants range from young children to senior citizens. All athletes are encouraged to practice good sportsmanship and teamwork. Here at North Dakota's State Special Olympics Soccer and Bocce Ball Tournament, athletes use these activities as a way to improve mental awareness as well as increase self-esteem.
You come here, people are happy. They're happy because they get to do something. They get an opportunity to do something and to be like everybody else.
A recent study done by Special Olympics found that participants showed significant improvement in their social skills by taking part in these sporting events. And now it's time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. The NCAA well underway in football. We want to know today who holds the NCAA career record for rushing yards. And your answers there go from recent players like Ron Dane as well as way backs like Tony Dorsett. We'll have that answer as well as more sports a little later on. Monty and Shannon?
Thanks a lot, Greg. A new movie starring Jodie Foster is using the confines of an airplane to create a feel of heightened suspense. We'll preview the movie Flight Plan.
Also, when a child is bullied at school, it can make them fearful to return to class. But when a child is bullied with technology, a ring of the cell phone can make them just as frightened. Coming up, we'll talk about teens who bully with technology.
Need to plan an entire conference? Want to provide your employees with professional training and development? The Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota provides quality programs and services for career enhancement. Whether you want to attend educator workshops or need a certificate for your profession, the Division of Continuing Education can help you achieve success. Contact the Division of Continuing Education today and let us meet your professional needs.
George Bull and his partners found value in farina, the whitest part of wheat, and created cream of wheat. Patrick Haggerty founded Texas Instruments and helped it become one of the nation's high-tech giants. Raymond Rood is responsible for the modern diving board. His diving boards have been used in every Olympic competition since 1960. Chris Moen and Marlene Schott launched their food company through the UND Entrepreneurship Program. Will yours be next?
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
The University of North Dakota Graduate School offers unique opportunities for students who love to keep their eyes on the skies. Atmospheric science students and faculty travel aboard our flying laboratory to study weather conditions from the sky. Students and professors in our Space Studies program are helping to shape the future of interplanetary travel. Major projects include designing and testing a spacesuit for the mission to Mars. Reach for the skies and beyond with a graduate degree from the University of North Dakota.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
You're watching Studio One, your source for news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
Cruelty from a schoolyard bully may seem inevitable for many young people. However, bullying can happen outside of the schoolyard and even in young people's homes with the use of email and phone lines. Shanterra McBride speaks across the nation about the serious problem of cyberbullying. Thanks for coming on the show today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I have to tell you, I haven't heard of cyberbullying before this.
Right.
What is cyberbullying?
Cyberbullying is basically using the internet and other forms of technology such as cell phones to harass, bully, and tease other students. So it's just a new form of the bullying that was happening in the hallways.
Okay, so instead of a shove in the schoolyard,
right,
they're getting through with different ways.
Yes.
How serious is the problem?
It's extremely serious, mainly because adults have no idea what's going on. Right? Young people are way more advanced in technology than adults are. I know kids who put together the computer system in their homes, you know? And so with young people being advanced on computers, know way more about instant messaging and websites and emails, they're able to participate in cyberbullying, and a lot of adults are intimidated with the technology, so therefore they don't get involved.
Sure. Are there laws against this?
Actually, no, because it's so new and it's so fresh. So a lot of folks aren't sure how to punish for cyberbullying. What we tell kids is that if you're experiencing hate mails or emails that are hurtful or harassing, to tell an adult, and to also print out the emails and take them to the police. I work with a lot of police departments, and they're treating it as a regular harassment case.
Okay. Now you're going across the nation, you're talking about this subject. Are people generally aware of the topic, or is it a brand new thing for them?
You know who's aware? Kids. When I say cyberbullying, they're like, oh yeah, I know what that is. You know, they're totally aware. When I say it to adults, they have no idea. They're like, well, how are kids doing this? And I say, from your computer. At home or the computers in their rooms, they're also using their cell phones, which people would not even imagine. They're like, well, I use my phone to dial out and I wait for it to ring. Well, kids know exactly what their phones can do. So from sending hurtful text messages to even using the camera feature on their phone to take pictures in embarrassing situations.
Yeah, and now there's even video phones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's getting more and more. How bad can this get?
Well, unfortunately, I've known kids who've committed suicide from experiencing cyberbullying. It's a difference in seeing someone at school who bothers you, who harasses you, and you see them, let's say, 8 to 3. Well, now, when I get home and I can turn on my computer, that bully is able to attack me again. So I'm bullied 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it makes it more intense. It magnifies the situation. And if I'm already stressed out, if I'm already afraid and I don't know what to do, I may decide to take matters in my own hands. We've already experienced Columbine, right? I'm fearful that with cyberbullying, it's going to take another Columbine in order for adults to become aware of cyberbullying.
Sure. And you work for a company called Empower?
Yes, the Empower program.
Empower program, and they're working with Unicell. How is that working together?
It's a great partnership. The Empower program is an organization that works with young people to end the culture of violence. So we normally work with kids to talk about cliques, bullying, popularity, social hierarchies, those forms of behaviors that escalate to stronger forms of violence. Well, Unicell, being a cell phone company, is a perfect match, especially with the rise in cyberbullying. So their PR firm found us and just brought us together in a great partnership where I can go around and talk to kids about what to do if they experience cyberbullying, and most of all, how to stop cyberbullying.
Is this something you're going all across? Where have you been so far?
Yeah, well, I've been to places I would never go. I've been to Vermont. I've been to Minnesota. I'm here in North Dakota, and on Monday I go to Maine.
Okay,
so
all over the place.
All over, yeah.
Now, the reaction of people when you sit down, and you talk to these people about this, what is generally the reaction that you get from people?
Well, you know what, with kids, and I've been talking to, our target are middle school students, and talking to the students, and I say, have you seen this? Have you experienced it? And they all agree. And then I ask, how does it feel? How does it feel to be the bully? How does it feel to be, to be the one to exclude, to talk about, to gossip? And, and they say things like, well, at first you feel bad, or you may feel good and then you feel bad. Or at first it starts off being funny, but then you realize you're hurting someone. When I ask them, how does it feel to get teased? The entire room changes. It gets really solemn because it hurts. And so they're really honest about it. So when they understand that it hurts if I'm being teased face to face, when I'm being teased on the internet, when I'm being teased by a computer, when I know that people are sending emails about me throughout the world.
And obviously it can escalate, just these different things. Quickly, how can parents help with this problem when they don't even know how wired their kids are?
Well, the first thing is privacy is overrated, okay? Privacy is overrated. So I say become nosy. Look over their screen while they're typing on their computer. Put the computer in a space where you can walk by and glance at the screen. Limit the time that they have on instant message. Limit the amount of text messages they can send from their phone. Or get a phone that doesn't have text messaging features, or get a phone without a camera, and have consequences. If they say, okay, well, I sent a text message, it was hurtful, then you can't use your phone for a week.
Okay.
You know, but really just get involved.
Get involved. And we hear that over again.
Yeah,
So
it's the same story,
it
you
is.
know, but with cyberbullying, don't be intimidated by the technology, just get involved.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Very interesting subject.
Glad.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Coming up, many children dream of becoming a professional athlete. We'll talk to an ice skater who had the opportunity to perform around the world. Also, chemicals, heavy equipment, and hopefully less stains. We'll follow a carpet cleaner on his day-to-day challenges.
Earn a degree in engineering while you
Thank
continue
you.
to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Wall Street has come to the prairie through the A. Kirk Lanterman Investment Center at the University of North Dakota. This state-of-the-art facility in the College of Business and Public Administration provides hands-on experience in the world of modern finance. Students learn how financial markets react with lightning quickness to world events. They use cutting-edge technology and real-time data from more than 200 financial markets around the world. The Lanterman Investment Center provides the tools to make a career out of an education.
There are many things to be found at the University of North Dakota School of Law. You will find a place with small class settings, an affordable place that offers student interaction with both the state and federal court systems. You will find a school that has averaged over 90% placement for its graduates the past 5 years. But most importantly, you will find the skills and experience you'll need throughout your legal career. Find your future at the University of North Dakota School of Law.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
Jodie Foster stars in a new high-flying movie called Flight Plan. The makers of Flight Plan hope to put audiences into an enclosed realm full of fright and suspicion. Foster plays a devoted recently mother who takes a transcontinental flight with her daughter. Her character questions her own sanity after her daughter mysteriously disappears in flight. Foster says the jumbo jet movie set is beneficial for the screenplay.
It's a little bit like theater, isn't it? Where you know, you stay in one place and yet the characters start changing, and the mood of the place changes as well.
The production crew spent 16 weeks building the 300-foot-long airplane from scratch. Most of the filming took place on a 27,000 square foot soundstage in Los Angeles. Flight Plan opens in theaters on September 23rd. Now it's time to look at the events happening in your area. Toxic chemicals, heavy lifting, and loud noises are hazards most would avoid. For one man, it's all part of a day's work. Today, we spend a day in the life of a carpet cleaner.
Put on. Okay.
He receives the phone call. He quickly assembles his arsenal. There's a job to do. Dirt, dead bugs, and stains are all in big trouble.
Carpet cleaning, it's not as simple as what people might think. Different ways of cleaning stains and what you have to do.
It's 4 o'clock on a Saturday. While most are lounging on a sunny day, this man is still steaming away at his second job.
Well, after 6 the alarm goes off. I'm at work at before 7 every morning. roughly work around about a 12-hour day.
And that is during the week, at his other job. On nights and weekends, Mark is busy running his own carpet cleaning business. Mark and his wife recently bought the cleaning company and quickly turned it into a success.
It has been good. It seems like its business over last year has doubled.
Dark stains and pet odors are two problems he runs into, but Mark says he has a bigger concern: meth labs.
It's more around town than what a person would like to think.
Meth labs are notorious for being hazardous, and Mark does all he can to avoid them.
Gotta more or less turn around and walk away when we actually do find them.
With problems aside, the dirt lifted, and his equipment put away, Mark heads home to rest for work on Monday. This has been James Haley reporting for Studio One.
Mark says his professional cleaning supplies can be expensive. He pays as much as $90 per gallon for chemicals. Coming up, some people like to dabble in making their own wines. We'll meet one couple who's taken their hobby a bit further. That story plus news, sports, and weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND has a long history of preparing students for successful careers. Through small classes and faculty involvement, students have unique opportunities to gain hands-on experience. Here, students launch a weather balloon to test a remote imaging device destined for Earth orbit. Students can also become involved in wind energy and fuel cell projects, design, build, and race a Formula One car, or even develop a camera that will generate agricultural images from the International Space Station. Find out for yourself how you can get involved at UND School of Engineering and Mines.
Do you need a flexible way to earn your degree? The University of North Dakota's Degrees After Hours program is designed to work around your full-time schedule. Whether you've got a family, a full-time job, or both, the Degrees After Hours program offers you flexible alternatives. You can earn a degree or take courses online through video conferencing and in the evenings or on weekends. UND's Degrees After Hours program fits your needs, your schedule, and your goals. Contact UND today.
This can happen.
Excuse me, can I get a ride?
What?
My car broke down. Can I get a ride?
No, I can't help you.
Look, it's just a ride.
No, step back.
Get in the car!
No!
Women can defend themselves. To learn more about Impact U or to enroll in a class, call the UND Women's Center.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks for joining us today. Well, it's hard not to look at the TV and see any kind of the damage that Hurricane Katrina has left.
Absolutely.
And now we have Rita to worry about. One of the things I know that people have been doing is looking back already at how things have been handled. What can we learn and maybe do better later? We went out and asked people their opinions on that subject, what they thought about how Katrina was handled, and that's coming up. Also in the next 30 minutes on Studio One, the city of New Orleans has a difficult road ahead as it tries to recover from Hurricane Katrina. We'll hear from some people who know all too well what residents there can expect.
Also, some people love to sample different wines. We'll tell you how many are doing just that at a winery that is quite different as well.
And many have wondered who is behind the magic of Disney. Later in the show, we'll meet one man who helped bring Disney's magic to ice. But first, here's today's news with Mariah Torning.
Thanks, Monty and Shannon. Hurricane Rita was downgraded to a Category 4 storm on Thursday as it neared the Gulf Coast. Despite the downgrade, Rita is still considered very dangerous, with winds expected to reach 150 miles per hour. Both city officials and residents of Gulf Coast areas are taking extra care after the destruction caused by Hurricane Katrina. Houston, a city of 3 million people, is facing extreme traffic jams with the evacuations. On one major road between Houston and Austin, drivers pushed their idling cars to save save gas. This evacuation marks the second for some victims of Katrina who had sought shelter in Texas.
State and federal government
A House committee met for the first time Wednesday to determine what went wrong in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. The committee is meeting even though some in Washington believe the investigation should be done by an independent counsel. Michael Brown, who resigned as the director of FEMA on September 12th, will testify before the committee on Tuesday. Universities across the nation are opening their doors to college students affected by Hurricane Katrina. Schools such as Florida State, Southern California, and Berkeley are all joining in the effort. The University of North Dakota is also helping by waiving tuition and fees this semester. This offer is for undergraduate and graduate students. Housing is being set aside for the remainder of the year. School officials say while the scope of the tragedy is still unfolding, the university wants to help.
We will bend over backwards to do whatever we have to do. We'll deal with every individual situation on a case-by-case basis. So the bottom line is, if students want to come to the University of North Dakota, we will work with them.
As many as 12 campuses in the New Orleans area, including Tulane University, have canceled classes for the fall semester. Hikers may soon be able to produce energy as they burn it. Pennsylvania University researchers have created a backpack that generates battery power with each step. The up and down motions activate an electrical generator in the backpack. The heavier the load, the more power generated. The energy produced will be able to power handheld devices such as MP3 players and cell phones. The generator weighs about 10 pounds. Researchers are already working on a lighter version. The project began at the request of the military. The aftermath of Hurricane Katrina has left much of the Gulf Coast in devastation. The tragedy reminds two communities of a disaster they experienced 8 years ago.
New Orleans, once a booming signature city of the South, was recently swallowed up by floodwaters as a result of Hurricane Katrina. What remains are mounds of debris. But 1,500 miles north of the destruction, two smaller communities recall a similar disaster that put them literally in the same boat. East Grand Forks, Minnesota and Grand Forks, North Dakota were overcome with floodwaters from the Red River in 1997. Leaving barely any property untouched, the damage from the flood cost nearly $2 billion.
But then the flood hit, it was quick, we were inundated.
Grand City's officials remember the years of hard work and perseverance it took to rebuild their community. And they say for New Orleans to do the same, they will have to lean on each other.
But you also need a commitment to the idea that as a community and as a nation, the nation will help you. You'll come back. That's what we do as Americans. We help each other.
The water will recede and the buildings will be restored, but the hearts of New Orleans residents may take longer to heal.
Individually, we all kind of hurt still a little bit, maybe a few more years, and we'll be more back to normal.
Though New Orleans has a long road ahead of them, there are positive aspects that can result from tragedies.
We weren't doing that well as a community. There wasn't a pride that was there, and I think after the flood with what's happened, you see a different pride.
In the months and years to come, New Orleans residents may come to renew their faith in what their city can achieve. Reporting for Studio One News, I'm Danielle Webster.
Unlike the flooding in New Orleans, there were no deaths caused by the Grand Forks flood of '97. And that's the news for now. Monty and Shannon?
Thanks, Mariah. Well, with disasters like flooding and hurricanes, there are just so many stories to tell.
Absolutely. It seems like every time you turn on your TV, you're either hearing about the effects of Hurricane Katrina or now looking at what's happening with Hurricane Rita. Yeah. So there's a lot going on. But we'll go now to Matt Benz at the Weather Studio and find out more about what we can expect to see in the weather.
Well, thanks, Monty and Shannon. We've definitely been on a cycle of hurricanes. Hurricane forms, it moves in and it causes some destruction, and it seems like people try to get back to normal before another hurricane begins to form again. That's the case right now. We have Hurricane Rita that's begun to form over much of southern Florida and northern Cuba. It's lashed the Florida Keys with some pretty heavy winds and rain and storm surge. About 13,000 residents remain in Key West, while 58,000 residents in Cuba were evacuated from the area. And basically it caused a lot of beach erosion as well as dock damage along most of the area, and as the storm moved off over the Gulf of Mexico, it intensified and is expected to move towards Texas, where the mayor of Galveston has ordered senior citizens as well as special needs centers to evacuate that city. And this is the affected area of Rita right now. It formed over the Dominican Republic and it moved off over the northern parts of the Caribbean. And it touched northern Cuba as well as southern Florida, and as it moves out into the Gulf of Mexico, is expected to strengthen into a very strong hurricane. While most of the coasts around the U.S. have to look out for hurricanes, most people inland need to worry about the components of a hurricane, which is a thunderstorm.
Every day we look to the skies to see what to wear, what to bring, and how to prepare for our events. When dark clouds loom in the distance, it makes us think about moving our plans indoors. Thunderstorm development is a common sight across much of the U.S., but meteorologists have certain key items they look for when predicting these storms.
The cooler it is aloft relative to the surface, the bigger the thunderstorms you can get. And the bigger the thunderstorms you get, the higher the likelihood of producing big hail, damaging downburst winds, organized tornadoes.
Being caught up in a storm is an experience rarely forgotten. Whether it is the strong winds or the heavy rain, each storm never ceases to impress.
So here you get a puff or two where it starts uprooting trees, blowing down small buildings, catches people's attention.
When the storm is over, it usually leaves its mark, with flooded roads or a very wet field. But without an occasional thunderstorms, many of our plants, rivers, and lakes would go dry. I'm Aaron Swanson, reporting for Studio One.
In a typical year, the United States will see over 100,000 thunderstorms form across its land. This relates back to our question of the day: at any given time, how many thunderstorms are in progress around the world? And your answer is C, 2,000 thunderstorms. Kind of as a sub-note to that, at any given moment there are over 100 lightning strikes as well that go along with these thunderstorms. So keep that in mind as you see a thunderstorm come across your area.
Thanks, Matt. There certainly is a lot going on.
I guess. So now we have to worry about not only the thunderstorms, but of course all the lightning strikes too that Matt warns us about.
It's a whole bunch of them out there.
Let's go now to sports news again with Greg Ankers.
Thanks, Monty and Shannon. Some of the most heated rivalries in sports have come from backyards all across America. They are the ones played between siblings. And for two brothers, that rivalry has carried on.
It is easy to find some things Joe and Scott have in common. They both are seniors in college, both enjoy the same soft drink, and their love of racing is as identical as their faces.
We grew up around it. My uncle is one real big racer around here. He's always been a good racer. We'd go with him and stuff on trips.
Identical twins Joe and Scott Johnson from Fargo, North Dakota, are into their third year of racing late model cars.
I call my last year at junior college to ask if we wanted to race late models. My dad calls up in like the middle of winter. He's like, "Howdy boys, like to race a late model?" And so I'm like, okay. Something you can't say no to. It's a rush.
The challenge of racing is unique for these brothers, with a chance of not just winning, but also crossing the finish line before the other.
We always want to beat each other, if anything, so we race harder when you're next to each other, you know, just try, but, you know, clean, try to not hit bump, you know.
On this particular race day, the biggest challenge wasn't the competition, or even each other. It was the weather.
Track gets really slimy and you can't hook, all you do is spin, so you can't really race, you're just sliding back and forth, so.
But the rain held off, and after some last-minute work...
Yeah, we got to put that on, the right rear.
And after the sun set, it was time for their race to begin.
We go back to racing with 11 laps to go.
Neither brother was victorious on this night, but both expect to win their own share of races in the future, making that one more thing about them that's identical.
Both brothers race all across the Midwest. In the off-season, they hope to concentrate on finishing school while still perfecting their racing. And now the answer to this week's Studio One Sports Trivia question: who holds the NCAA career record for rushing yards? The answer we're looking for is C, Ron Dane, who rumbled for nearly 6,400 yards when he was with the Wisconsin Badgers as he passed Ricky Williams during the 1999 season. And that's the sports for now. Monty and Shannon?
Thanks, Greg. French fries are everywhere, but one event is bringing the small potato out of the drive-thru and into a park. We'll look at one town's attempt to break a French fry record.
Also, it can take some wines years before they're ready to drink. We'll tell you about a couple that has quickly made a name for themselves in the winemaking business.
When you graduate from college, what will you be able to offer an employer?
Well, I'm a really good people person.
I really love working with people.
I'm very, very motivated.
I'm a great people person.
I am really motivated.
Offer an employer something more. At the University of North Dakota Career Services Center, we can help you get the competitive edge you need. Stop in or check us out, UND Career Services, empowering students to realize their dreams.
Did I mention I'm great with people?
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND offers students exceptional learning opportunities. Undergraduates are helping faculty design and build unmanned aerial vehicles to test remote imaging devices. They're also converting wind energy into hydrogen. Geological science students are contributing to environmental research. Extracurricular activities include designing, building, and racing a fuel cell car. Make the most of your college experience at UND's School of Engineering and Mines.
Let the University of North Dakota become your partner by providing your business with services to enhance your workforce. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience conducting employee satisfaction research, strategic planning, focus groups, and grant development. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One, twice named the best college television show in the nation by the National Association of College Broadcasters.
It's commonplace to see French fries on menus across the U.S. In Grand Forks, North Dakota, they take their love of French fries to record proportions.
Grand Forks, North Dakota is nestled in the middle of farm country. As harvest begins, a celebration takes place at the University of North Dakota. The football team prepares for an important game. It's not the Sugar Bowl or even the Rose Bowl. It's the Potato Bowl.
Isn't this fantastic? I mean, it's end of year harvest, celebration, kind of last days of summer. It's a fantastic way to celebrate, the end of season.
This park is bursting with people. There's a slow-moving line inching its way to a tent. Inside that tent is the reason for all this commotion.
They're a good flavor, they've got good salt, they have all the ketchup you want, and very good quality French fry.
It's fantastic, all these people. I've never seen people waiting 50 deep for French fries before.
These people are gathered in the park for a tiny piece of potato and the shot at the world's largest French fry feed.
Every year it gets bigger and bigger. Last year we made about 4,180, almost 4,200. This year we made 4,500 just in case.
Event volunteers estimate that people ate about 4,518 pounds of French fries. Top that with 113 gallons of ketchup and you've got a new world record. This particular world record doesn't bring fame or fortune to organizers or participants. It simply gives them the satisfaction of breaking the record and leaves them with the aftertaste of a darn good French fry. I'm Lance Vogel reporting for Studio One.
An estimated 10,000 people were served during the event. Next year, French fry eaters will have to consume more than 4,158 pounds to beat the record. There are different opinions about how the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina is being handled. While much attention is centered around the negative, others are more upbeat. We wanted your thoughts on how things are being handled in Katrina's wake.
We could have gotten more people out ahead of time instead of having the roads backed up and people just kind of sitting there, standing in line downtown and not really knowing what to do.
I think that there was a lot of pain and suffering and perhaps loss of life that mightn't have been averted if we had organized this better.
I think it'll turn out better than they claim. I know, of course, it's costing a lot of money and everything, which that's normal with a tragedy like that.
They couldn't do anything about it coming, so they should have just got everyone in there as quick as they could. And people can't talk to each other, and nobody really knows what's going on. So I just don't think they handled it well at all.
I think the Red Cross got in there as quickly as they could. The federal governments maybe could have been a little bit quicker.
For some, turning their passion into a business can seem like a foolhardy venture. With a little help from their family, one Minnesota couple is finally able to share something special to them with their community.
Minnesota is known across the country as a farming state. Many people think of wheat, corn, and soybeans as the main crops, but one couple has brought a new type of farming to the area, and what Carol and Leroy Stumpf produce is quite different than most.
Around 2000, I said, you know, I'm tired of all this regular gardening stuff. I said, if I'm going to work this hard, I think I'd like to be laboring in the vineyard.
And so it began. They decided to create their own vineyard, which is now the most northern winery in Minnesota. The Stumpfs worked just as hard to create a business name as they did to pick their grapes.
I was looking through a Minnesota history book, looking for more Minnesota connections to find the right phrase or name, and I came across a sentence regarding two fools heading north.
Their kids approved, so they became the Two Fools Vineyard near Thief River Falls, Minnesota. It has been a busy year for these two fools. They received their license and began making their first wines last fall with the help of their family. And now it is time for them to start making their 2005 wines. And that means a lot of manual labor. Aside from the typical grape wines, they have apple, gooseberry, and strawberry rhubarb wine. It's what sets their winery apart from other vineyards.
We shouldn't take a back seat to Napa Valley or Columbia River or some of those more famous places.
The Two Fools Vineyard is working within their community to give other people a chance to be a part of the production.
There's several other people who are in the area that are planting grapes and growing grapes.
By getting the community involved, the Stumpfs have gotten the word out about their passion. They have seen visitors from around the world this summer.
I'm from San Francisco, so our wines are a lot heavier and not quite as smooth and fruity as these are.
Their winery is also satisfying the thirst of local residents.
Yeah, I am really excited that it's here because I live in Grand Forks and it's not a real long drive.
With one successful year of wine production complete, the Stumpfs are satisfied.
So far, so good. I mean, people are enjoying our wines.
So these two fools may not have had such a foolish idea after all. With photographer Patrick Wynn, I'm Mariah Torning reporting for Studio One.
Two Fools Vineyard is open weekends until the end of October. They have red, white, and fruit wines available for complimentary tastings. Sleeping Beauty, Peter Pan, and Hercules are just a few stories brought to life by Disney on Ice. Coming up, we'll meet a man that had the opportunity to be part of these magical productions.
The College of Business and Public Administration at the University of North Dakota is proud to announce the Page Family Marketing Center. A gift from alumni Greg and Cindy Page, this center promises real-world experiences as students begin careers in marketing. The center includes a specially designed conference room for focus group research. An adjacent lab offers real-time access to software and data for marketing decisions. The Page Family Marketing Center, your next step in marketing.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door. No matter what your schedule, no matter when you work, no matter what job you have now, this is your opportunity to accomplish your goals. Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota can work around your busy schedule. Bachelor and master's degrees are earned through convenient, flexible, and high-quality classes. Complete degrees are available online through correspondence study and on weekends and evenings. Earn a degree on your terms with Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota.
For 75 years, the Walt Disney Company has carved its name permanently in the minds of children and their parents. For the last 20 years, Disney has brought their stories to arenas worldwide. Professional ice skater Chris Hargreaves is here to tell us about his experiences with Disney on Ice. Thanks for being on the show, Chris.
My pleasure.
Well, it's wonderful to have you here. You've been figure skating for many, many years now. How did you first get involved in figure skating? When was your first performance?
My first actual paid performance, or when I was young.
Your first professional.
My mother was a figure skater as well. She was with Holiday on Ice Europe for many years, and when I was young, I traveled with her as she did the show. We had a great time. It was a great childhood.
Sounds like quite the exciting childhood. Did you ever have the chance to skate with your mother?
Well, I did what they called stunt boy. For example, there would be a number in the show, and I'd be sat in one of the, either a row on the side or the front row, and I'd walk out onto the ice and one of the skaters would hit me, and it'd be like a joke. The crowd would think, oh, there's this child wandering on the ice. And no, it was all set up. So I did those kind of things. And then when I was 16, I turned professional, and I joined the show at that time, and that was 1983, I believe.
Wow, so you're probably a veteran by the time you even started working professionally for them.
Well, that was with Holiday on Ice Europe, and then I joined Disney later on. And I was in Czechoslovakia at the time, and I got a call that Disney was auditioning. So I flew back to London and auditioned, and they accepted me after that, and we started rehearsals in Wembley Stadium and went on from there.
So why did you choose to make that switch to Disney on Ice?
Well, part of it was financial, of course. I mean, you look at your finances. But another reason was Disney had been to some places that Holiday doesn't go. And I'd done a lot of cities with Holiday on Ice. So Disney played the States, and Holiday wasn't at that time working in the States. So.
Absolutely. It sounds like you got to see a lot of the world while you were traveling around.
Yeah.
Now, while you were with Disney, you played in several different productions with Disney.
Yeah.
How much practice did it take to get the crew ready for new productions?
Well, the skaters moved down to Lakeland, Florida, right, and usually in the middle of July. And we start on the road at the end of August. So during that time, we have technicians setting up the grid, doing everything they need to do, and wardrobes down there fitting us with costumes while we're rehearsing. So it takes about 6 to 7 weeks.
It's quite a bit of work just to get everything up and going.
And that's usually from about 8 in the morning till about 10 o'clock at night, with a few little breaks here and there.
It's a long day.
It's some hard work, yeah.
Well, we actually have video of one of your productions that you did with Toy Story, in which you were portraying Ham, the pig. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. That is a huge outfit that Ham is wearing there. Is it just one individual, or are there multiple people working on this one?
You know, I used to have a joke, because with some characters it does take two. And if somebody had asked me, I'd say, yeah, there's 2 little people in there. 2 dwarfs or something. But no, it's just me in there in that costume. And it's a very hot costume. It's hard to portray, and it took the full 7 weeks for me to get used to that. And not just for acting, but for the physical side of it, to get my body ready for it. I think I lost close to 15 pounds just within that rehearsal period of just like body fat and mass. I'd gain muscle in my arms and my legs, but then I'd lose body fat, so I was just really tight around the stomach and my arms. I look kind of odd. Kind of strange.
Well, it looks like a huge costume there that you had to deal with.
I mean, that's not the biggest I've done. We've walked stilts on the ice. We've had a unicycle on the ice. And when we did the Hercules show, we had what they called the Ice Titan. And I was on 6-foot stilts, and then the costume raised another 8 feet above my head.
Wow.
Because you're playing the Titans. I don't know if you or your viewers have seen Hercules, but it's a Disney production that came out in the late 90s, and there were these Titans. And to transfer them onto the ice was a big challenge for Disney, but we eventually put it together.
Now, how long did you work with the individual productions before you moved on to new productions?
Well, we started off where me and my wife would stay with each show for the whole run, and we'd go around the world wherever the show took us. But later on in life, we decided we wanted to have a house trailer, and we did other things within the show. Me and my wife ran the food service. I also drove truck for them from city to city, just a way to make a little extra cash, and you can only really do that in the States. So we would stay 2 years, and then when the show traveled overseas, we'd come back and do the new show in Lakeland, and we did that since about 97. So between 97 and 2003, we just did about 3 or 4 new shows and transferred back, and they were very good. If you say you want to go to one show, they'll do the best to put you there, especially if you got a little seniority.
Which it sounds like you gained after being there for a little while. Now, as a professional athlete, many would say that you're a role model for especially children. How do you deal with that responsibility?
Well, they ask us, we do a lot of PRs for the show in each city, and children will come in, whether they're competition winners or whether it's a local figure skating club, and we always talk to them, and sometimes it's at a TV station or a radio station, and we'll have them ask questions. And as far as most kids go, it's the same with any job you want to do. You know, you've got to put hard work into it. And we just had a girl from here, actually. One of my wife's students, she just went to the new show, The Incredibles, and she'd been a skater ever since she was very small. But she auditioned and she went and she worked hard, and like anything, work hard, go for it.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like you had a pretty experienced career where you got to do a lot of different things. Can we expect to see you on the ice again?
Well, I do a little bit here and there. I teach some of the children here, but I'm working at Leighton Broadcasting, one of your competitors, I'm sure, and I now do some on-air work, and I transferred some of my performance skills from the show to that. So I'll be doing what you do.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show.
You do very well.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It's great to have you here, and you have a wonderful story to share.
Oh, thank you.
You're watching Studio One News from the University of North Dakota. We'll be right back after this.
UND College of Business and Public Administration is reaching out to rural America. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is working to connect North Dakota veterans with important information. North Dakota veterans can use the internet to access employment and business resources, health and benefits they deserve, housing information, and much more. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is funded in part by the North Dakota Congressional Delegation. North Dakota veterans and their families can get connected by visiting go.ndgrow.com.
Become a leader in healthcare with a graduate degree from the University of North Dakota. The Graduate School at UND offers degree programs and advanced practice certificate programs in the allied health professions and nursing. Our faculty give you the individual attention you need to help you attain your career goals. Distance programs for practicing professionals allow you to pursue graduate studies without interrupting your career. Contact the UND Graduate School today.
When you graduate from college, what will you be able to offer an employer?
Well, I love working with people.
I'm a people person.
I consider myself to be highly motivated.
I'm a real self-starter.
Offer an employer something more. At the University of North Dakota Career Services Center, we can help you get the competitive edge you need. Stop in or check us out, UND Career Services, empowering students to realize their dreams.
I can offer you much more than just good people skills.
You're hired.
This can happen.
Excuse me, can I get a ride?
What?
My car broke down. Can I get a ride?
No, I can't help you.
Look, it's just a ride.
No, step back.
Get in the car!
No!
Women can defend themselves. To learn more about Impact U or to enroll in a class, call the UND Women's Center.
Tune in next week on Studio One. Waxing to remove unwanted body hair can be a painful process. Next week, we'll show you one group of college men who were willing to wax for a cause. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
We're going to leave you now with pictures of people having fun at a skate park, courtesy of photographer Eric Fleischhacker. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.